Alright everyone, it's time for the Occult video 400. Your body, aging, death, mortality, things related to that. Just thought that it was an important subject to actually talk about. Your physical body, this is my own spiritual opinion. A learned one, but it is technically still just my opinion. Is simply a machine that you, yourself, the real you, is using to interact with the world. Now, why are you here? I can't answer that question. Is there a God? Some sort of creative force. The paradox of existence itself is more interesting to me particularly. Talked about that in a previous video. The paradox of the fact that things exist at all. Technically speaking, according to the human understanding of time, we shouldn't exist at all. There should be nothing. It shouldn't be capable of existing. We shouldn't be capable of incarnating at all. But today we're talking about mortality. The fact is, and most people have not really absorbed this, at the end of their life, maybe. They sort of come to the understanding, I'm dying and stuff like that. For the most part, though, people don't really understand you're going to die someday. That is, that the machine that you are using, like this flesh here, which is, again, according to my opinion, nothing more than a machine, eventually it's going to wither away. It's going to decay, it's going to get put in the ground or burned to ashes or something like that. Maybe I'll get shot. Maybe I'll get run over by a bus. It doesn't really mean anything. That's the reality. Death is completely meaningless. Regardless of what happens after you die, you are going to die. So don't worry about it. I have some advice for those of you who are on the younger side, especially those that are under 30. Your body peaks around the time that you're in your late 20s, early 30s. If you're younger than that, just enjoy yourself. Don't worry too much. Go ahead and fuck. Go ahead and do whatever the hell else you want to do. Don't worry too much about it. Your body can take the strain, generally speaking, unless you have some sort of a terrible congenital disorder. If you do, then I have pity, I have empathy for you. For example, in my family, at least on one side of the family, heart disease happens to be fairly prevalent. I could die of a massive heart attack at any time. Do I worry about this? No, I don't give a fuck. This physical body is eventually going to die anyway. It doesn't really matter if it dies now, or if it dies when I'm 70, 80 years old. I don't believe that when a conscious being, one that is self-aware, dies, that is, that the physical body is gone, I do not believe that it simply stops existing. I have deep spiritual beliefs. I'm very genuine about this when I say that. I'm not necessarily a theist, not in the sense that religions would prescribe it. For example, I don't believe in a human-like God. That is to say, like a personified deity or something like that. I don't believe in that. Is there a cosmic force driving existence? At this point, I've come to the conclusion that there definitely is, actually. In that sense, I suppose I've become a theist, which is very, very interesting. I'm also an occultist, though. I believe in trying to investigate these things and finding out the truth about them. Whatever that truth happens to be, it happens to be. It doesn't matter what your particular opinion about that is. I believe that people do not stop existing simply because they've died. I extend this to all other conscious life forms, too. In fact, in between lives, there is a theory. This is within the realm of theosophy. It's taken, kind of bootstrapped from Hinduism. It's called Devachan. Under Devachan, the idea is that if a person has suffered from addictions, let's say sex, alcohol, whatever it happens to be, they'd have to burn that off in Devachan. After that, they become kind of like a temporary god in between lives. That is, that they are capable of effectively constructing reality around them through their mentality. Once the addictions are gone, whatever they happen to be, the attachments, they're capable of effectively constructing their own world effectively. And they're capable of dwelling in that for a considerable period of time. This is in between lives. Eventually, the person either runs out of, it kind of depends on the interpretation, they either run out of energy, so to speak, or their time is up, so to speak, or they get bored, and then they incarnate into a new form. So let's say that your life fucking sucks. You know, you've been abused, and you're poor, and all of the other possible terrible things that have happened in your life. Effectively, under that theory, you've chosen it. You just chose hard mode. But you don't remember that, because there's no memory to actually remember. You didn't have a physical brain, in other words. Let's say that your life is rather good. Well, you decided to choose easy mode. You decided to incarnate in the Brahmin class or something like that. It's sort of a way out for physical mortality. I don't fully believe in that, although elements of it I do believe in between physical lives, of course. You have choices that you can make. But the idea is that the body, that is this physical form, basically doesn't matter. It matters in the sense that you can create change. It matters in the sense that you can interact with the world. But it's literally nothing more than a vehicle. Take, for example, think about it this way. This is the doppelganger of your body. You're driving a car. The car is moving around. You're using it for a useful purpose. You're not the car. You are the one driving the car. But the car itself is also regarded as being effectively an entity. Any lesser life form certainly thinks so, especially squirrels. You're not the vehicle itself. You are your own person driving the vehicle. This is my concept of spirituality in essence, in a nutshell. Speaking of squirrels, in a nutshell. Pun not intended, but still funny. Effectively, you are driving this vehicle, this human persona that you have. That's not the real you. The real you is a spirit. It's some sort of ethereal force. The body that you've chosen to incarnate into is mortal, though. Eventually it will die. My advice to the young, enjoy your fucking life. Just have some fun. Don't worry too much. If you die, you die. Who cares? I mean, well, I would care if you're a clanker, but yeah, I mean, it's going to happen eventually anyway. People pass away. I'm sure you've got to realize as well, my philosophy is partially informed by the fact that I'm a content creator with a significant audience. I have to grapple with the fact on a day-to-day basis that part of my audience has died. Part of my audience is, rapists and murderers and stuff like that. They're literally in prison and stuff like that, and that's why they don't show up anymore. It's a little bit of a weird experience, actually, at times, being a content creator. I suppose it literally informs my spirituality. So, as far as mortality goes, it is inevitable. If you're younger than that, if you're, like 20 or something, don't worry about it too much. Just go and have some fun. If you're on the older side, well, again, at some point you're going to die. Guide yourself with spirituality, learn new skills, drop vices, self-improve. That's my advice to everyone in the world. And if everyone were to do this, if everyone dropped one vice, picked up one skill, it could be a hobby that you improve upon, it could be something related to your work, whatever it happens to be, wouldn't this be a far, far better and more efficient world? It would be paradise. We can do literally anything. People just don't realize it. That's about all. Peace out.